Hi, I'm Kristin Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? This is a very, very, very exciting time, you guys, because today we have the incredible Nicole Ari Parker with us here at Are You a Charlotte?
Yes.
And we may cry, okay? Just going to tell you right now, there's a might cry.
Yes.
Because what happened was this. I was at camp with my kids last week in Oregon, and I did know that our announcement was coming. We had a little bit of notice.
Yes.
And we hadn't all talked about it. And I was in Oregon, and I thought I need to call Nicole because I feel like you're my person, you know. And I was worried we had already scheduled this, and I didn't know if you would want to come talk, if it would be too soon, you know. I just wanted to think about your feelings. And so I tried to call you, and I thought it was okay. So I went to the car to call Nicole because I was at this camp full of people, and I was, I don't know these people, right? So I went to the camp, the car, and I called her, but I couldn't talk. I thought I was fine, and then I couldn't talk. So I was like, ugh. And so either the voicemail didn't record, which is what I'm hoping, or a different Nicole from my past might have a sobbing phone call. I'm not sure which, because when I saw Nicole today, I said, I'm so sorry I left you that message, because then I felt
like, what message?
Terrible. And she said, what message? So she didn't get it, you guys.
Didn't get one single message.
But I'm really glad, because it was literally like an ugly cry sobbing situation.
Oh.
Because, the feelings aren't really together yet. I don't know how you're feeling.
Well, I got very attached to you and to the show, and we were just getting started, you and I, and everything, and I just feel at the same time grateful and sad because you're legendary and the show is legendary, and I'm just grateful I got to be a part of it and get to know you.
Yeah. I mean, you, for me, were like the bright light that came. I mean, all of us have been together for so long, as you know, most of us. And then we got you and Sarita. And do you remember our first day of work?
I do.
Because it was the first day being back. Nicole had to come into Charlotte's apartment. I was the first one up when we came back after COVID. Obviously hadn't been together. So the thing that is the silver lining to this whole thing is that as much as the show is ending, they say, I'm trying to believe them. I can't. I don't feel it in my gut, but this is what they tell me, so I'm trying to get with it. As you guys know, this is obviously, I never think it's over, right? This is just who I am. But I'm trying to believe it. But we're all still in each other's lives. So as much as it's an ending, like sometimes people say, oh, what was it like to be all back together? Well, it's of course unique when you're on a set. It's a different situation on a set, but it's not like I hadn't seen everybody. Of course I see everybody in different ways, in different places, not all together probably, you know what I mean? Or not for 18 hours.
Right.
In heels. Right, in very high heels. But it and of course the thing that I'm mostly, I don't even know what I'm mostly sad about, but the newness of having you and Sarita join us and other people too, obviously, but like substantially you and Sarita brought so much. And you just as an actress, I have so many different memories, of you having to do really hard things. Like remember that time we went down to that crazy place downtown and you have to tell me that you might be pregnant and you might not and you don't know and you've got your documentary. Do you remember this?
Yes.
It's in the aisles of the high-end grocery items.
Oh my, that's right.
That was hard, man.
That was so hard.
And you nailed it, but you never think you nail it.
I know.
Such a glorious
because
thing about you.
I need to tell the viewers that the show that you love, that I was blessed enough to be a part of, though that writing is pure drama that has to turn on a dime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I can do stuff, but this is a whole other beast.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And you guys have nailed it and cemented that lovely frequency in stone. And so, I remember the first scene I shot that was kind of but it was the group scene, the lunch.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first day of first scene.
I felt for you.
And I was always a fan of the show. And I knew the scope of your, the show's global phenomenon, and I'm standing and I'm getting touched up and I'm getting my wardrobe fidgeted with and secured. I'm wearing clothes. I don't even know how to say the names of the designers I'm wearing. And we were shooting at the Whitney.
Yes, the Whitney.
We were shooting at the Whitney with all the glass, clear glass windows. And I'm standing kind of away, but you three are at the table and the people outside slowly realize through the glass what's happening. So I turn around after getting makeup touched and there's massive amounts of people freaking out. And I'm like, today is today. Welcome to the world of Sex and the City.
Yeah,
they were so excited to see you guys.
I know, that was sweet. That was a good day. The thing that I remember the most about that day, I had forgotten that day for your part.
And I had to ask you guys in the scene, I had to ask if I could have a French fry.
You have to eat, I know.
I was like, this can't be happening.
I know. And my scene was that monologue about you, because I'm basically telling the girls who you are before you enter. And it's very long. It's like your credentials, basically, right? And they film Sin and Sarah first over my shoulder. So I've been doing this very, very lengthy monologue for maybe 4 hours. And then they turn around on me and Michael Patrick says, I need more energy. And I'm like, oh my God, because also like it's kind of like you're building your legs back up. Like, because this particular job is so hard in terms of the dialogue, in terms of the shoes, in terms of the stamina.
Yes.
And then and just like that, we often go to work at 4:30 in the morning for whatever reason, because we're in daylight. So you're tired, and I've got that long monologue and Michael Patrick's like, I need more energy. And I'm like, okay, and I'm trying to do more energy. And then he's like, I don't see it in your eyes. And I'm like, well, Michael Patrick, you might have seen it in my eyes like 6 hours ago. But of course, because it was you and I'm introducing the viewer to you as well as Carrie Miranda, right? So I wanted it to be, and I hope I pulled it off. Thank you so much.
She nailed it.
But I do remember you in those outfits, and they were like so like out of the box, like nothing else.
And I had to act like, oh, this is normal.
And how did you feel about that?
Well, I'm naturally a bit dramatic, so I can handle a caftan.
Oh man, can you ever?
Giant necklace and 2 purses at the same time, because Molly would always give me a second bag.
I know, because she had too much. It was like an abundance of riches.
I know. And so I felt great in the clothes. It was more about you guys that I just was so starstruck, you could say.
Oh,
yeah.
you did
Even
not
as a grown-up, I was like, oh my God.
For me, one of my other really funny memories, which was more recent, when we went back to do this 3rd season, our day in the park, where we go to the baseball. I don't know if I feel like that was my first day in the park. And you have the longest, most beautiful legs ever created on a human being. And I really, really do not. And I'm wearing a pencil skirt, of course, with some kind of lunatic high shoes. And we're trying to get over those rickety bleachers. And you reach back to take my hand, which was so sweet. But you're moving at gazelle speed. And I'm moving at like, I don't know, Chihuahua speed or something. I don't know, but I'm not capable of keeping up with you. Oh my God, the stress. I was like, I'm going to rip this skirt in ways that are not going to be attractive.
You killed it.
You're so sweet, but this is how you feel the whole job, whether you've been doing it for 1 month or 30 years.
I really loved our scenes at the kids' school.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
The Arbor School.
Yes. And I just felt like, and we had insane props. Bags and
big
bags and always some drama.
Yeah. I think I had to call Cynthia at one point this season. I think I've talked about it on the podcast, because we sometimes collaborate posts on Instagram, but she has different followers than I have. Her fans, my fans, whatever. And her fans at one point took me apart for one of our early episodes that I was over the top and wacky, and I think it might have been the one we're talking about, the college prep episode.
Yes.
And I had to call Cynthia because I was like, well, I don't understand what's happening. And I mean, this is how I feel a lot in today's world. And she said, first of all, you were absolutely doing the part that you were written. You guys are Lucy and Ethel, and you are supposed to be. You were supposed to lean into that because we know where your storylines are going for both of you. Mm-hmm. And this was a setup for that because that's how Michael Patrick thinks. That's how all of our writers think. They have a long game. Mm-hmm. And not every episode it's going to be clear what that long game is. Mm-hmm. You were going to go to a deeper place. I was going to go to a deeper place. From my place, a lot of it was rethinking what's important. And Charlotte's always been the type of character where I get sucked into the details, the how do things look, how do things seem, are we doing everything we could possibly do? Mm-hmm. Like that's a very Charlotte core kind of an idea. And so in those episodes that, I'm stressing over, will Lily go to college? Will it be the best college? This is a very real and relatable. You have grown kids. You've probably been through this.
Yeah.
Right?
18 and 20, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible that you do that, but that you're there. It's like amazing. We'll get to that in a second. But anyway, I had to call Cindy and get a little pep talk to say, no, you guys are Lucy and Ethel right now in the show, and that is what was written, and that is what you're supposed to do, and you cannot do Lucy and Ethel without leaning into it.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for being there with me. You were just the best partner I could have.
So much fun.
I know.
And it's hard. Some days are easier, but for the most part, it's hard.
It is hard.
And, most people are like, what are you doing next? I'm like, can I just process this for a minute?
100%. So it's a lot. And Nicole just moved to New York.
Yes.
With her beautiful husband, Boris, who we must talk about.
Yes.
So, how are you feeling? How's Boris feeling? How's the family?
Well, I'm from Baltimore, and I went to NYU. I lived here for 13 years. Then I got Soul Food, where I met Boris in 2000, and we moved to LA. And we were in Atlanta for a minute, and then we moved to LA. And but I was always a New Yorker. I was always an East Coast girl. I'm a city kid. And so it was so obvious. Like my family was so exhausted by me. They would be like, we know, Mommy, you want to live in New York and go see theater and meet your friends and be a pedestrian. Like,
so
in
it's
LA,
good.
you got to drive. Like they gave me the monologue almost like every week.
Wow.
And then one day this year, Boris came in the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth or something. And he goes, you want to move? It's time.
Wow.
But I had to act very cool because I didn't know if my excitement was going to make him backpedal. I don't know. So I was like, are you sure?
Wow.
Really? I was very gentle.
Yeah.
But we put our house on the market. And I just, yes, the show shoots here. And I had an apartment here. But I was doing it for my soul, really, just not even work. Like I just wanted this chapter of my life to be in the city or in New York.
Right.
I mean, we found a house. I had to compromise because I like the concrete jungle. But Boris is from the Black Forest. He's from the woods.
Right.
And so if we were going to move to the East Coast, he needed city adjacent. He needed trees.
I'm with Boris.
Yeah. We're right on the Hudson River.
Beautiful.
Trees. It's beautiful.
And the dogs are thrilled.
The dogs are like, finally, we're dogs. Like, I'm chasing squirrels.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we're very happy.
So it is feeding your soul in the way that you wanted.
It's feeding my soul,
Good.
although like Chris Jackson, who lives up there too, I would have made the 45-minute trek to work every day.
Wow.
To be with you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now let's just talk about Chris Jackson for a second. I'm going to have to find a way to have him on the podcast, even though he was never in Sex and the City, but neither were you. But I can do whatever I want, right? It's my podcast. Chris Jackson played Nicole's husband, as I hope you guys know, on And Just Like That. And he's an incredible actor. He was the original George Washington in Hamilton, which my kids are like fully obsessed with him now.
Everyone is obsessed with him.
I know. But they didn't know when they first came to set. They hadn't had their Hamilton discovery moment. And now they're just in disbelief, like, Mommy, you got to work with him? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys met him. But he wasn't dressed as George Washington.
That's right.
So they just didn't realize, do you know what I mean? So it's all very funny now. But, you know, what a dream team, you guys. I mean, in my mind, I'm just going to say this. I don't know if it can happen. I guess it probably can't. But like, I want to see your show.
Oh.
Wouldn't it be amazing? I don't know how to make that happen, but your whole family's existence, I love so much.
Wow.
Everything about it, all of your children. When you guys get dressed to go to the funeral of your father's character, just, it's a whole world that I want to be in.
I was just talking about this, and that the show, the writers, MPK, really did a great job in that, you know, they didn't slap spaghetti on the wall. They didn't make the Black family cookie cutter.
No.
They really fleshed out everything, like, you know, the art on the walls, the coffee cups I drank out of.
We
my
worked hard on that art.
And, you know, you guys made Karen Pittman's character real and my character real in a way that I was proud to be a part of.
Thank you.
You know, and so, yeah, I don't know. You never know. I mean,
never know anything, right? You never know anything.
But then you have Billy D. Williams play my father.
I mean, what a dream.
And Jennifer Lewis.
Jennifer Lewis. It was incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. Casting did their thing. Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
But also that was Susan. You know, that was Susan Fales Hill who really had those inspirations and basically wrote that part for Jennifer Lewis and made it happen. You know, she's the engine behind.
Do you remember the table read?
Yes.
Oh my God, she threw down, like the whole house was like, what?
Oh, it was incredible.
At the table.
I know.
Those
to have
table
Jennifer,
reads were epic. I wish people could see them.
I agree, because they are a very old school thing that we still do. That Michael comes from that, you know, old school sitcom world where the table read was very important. And if jokes didn't hit, they would get cut.
Right.
Which I kept trying to explain to my pretend children, like, please act at the table read because I want your jokes
had to bring it
to stay. But they're kids and they're trying to be real or whatever, or quiet. I don't know what they were trying to do.
Subtle.
But my mommy self was like, you guys, you get louder. You know, hit it. But because back in the olden days, as is kind of obvious when you watch the old episodes, mostly I am just wowed by the old episodes because I never rewatched till now, which is part of the fun of the podcast. I would watch once when it would, right before it would air, they would give us a VHS. And then I hadn't watched in many years. There's A storyline, B storyline, C storyline, D storyline. D storyline, you probably don't get much because there's just not time. They're 22 minutes, right?
That's right.
So if you went to that read through and didn't give it your all, you were probably on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Or maybe they filmed it and then it might get cut if it wasn't strong enough. But most of the time they would not have the money.
They would gauge it from the table read.
Yeah.
Does this work? Is it not landing? All that.
Right.
I remember the table reads being so powerful that I cried.
Oh, me too.
I would cry at the table read, while eating my little finger sandwich. Like, it was rough sometimes.
Yeah.
With such good actors.
I know.
Yeah.
And also the funny thing is that in the olden days, we were in a room like this size. But do you remember how big our table reads got?
It was with really lovely finger sandwiches.
60 people.
I was like, can I take some of this home?
Definitely. But also like you're like at a theater. It's like a theater performance in a weird way, in a circle.
Yeah.
A circular theater performance. I know, it's crazy to think about.
And everyone always asks me, what is Kristin like for real? What is SJ? What is Cynthia like?
What do you say?
And I'm like, she is everything. She's so beautiful inside and out, so funny, so sincere. And like, I one of the through lines of the things I would really feel about you three was that these are real women. They have full lives. They don't have their head in the sand. They know what's going on in the world. They are humans to the fullest.
Thank you.
And I was just, I just fell in love even more.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that's true. It's like when you have had this kind of weird level of success, which of course we're so thankful for, but people really do think that we're our characters, and we're really not. You know?
Yeah.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I know it.
I mean, we kind of are, but we kind of aren't.
Yeah,
Like, it's
I mean,
a weird
essence of the characters, of your real persons are there.
Right.
But the facts of your real life are so grounded and human and actual, like, lifing is happening.
100% lifing is happening. And that you fit right in, obviously, which is such a joy. But the funny thing, too, is like I had been on other sets back in the day before we started. And it's not that those people weren't real or weren't grounded, but like the things that they would talk about at work would be like shopping or golf or, you know what I'm trying to say, working out, like very actressy
But like you
things.
said, we had to become a family really fast.
Yeah.
And just what I loved about, people talk about being a grown-up. It's like, I love that we're grown.
Me too.
Maybe when I was 20, I would have talked to you about what eyeshadow you were wearing. But and we kind of do still talk about what shoes you wear.
We might have that moment of the day, right?
We might have it today,
totally.
Because you are killing it with the shoes
And you
today.
are killing it, baby.
So I was like, you don't understand. We have real conversations about what's going on in the world. Our kids.
Yeah.
Our life,
Yeah.
And it was very fulfilling on screen and off.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes me so happy. And that's the thing, like your post that you posted was so sweet, and so many, like Alexandra Bello, like so many people have posted, and it is so deeply satisfying to know that we did create a place where people felt happy and welcome, because that is so important to us, and so important to us when we were reconvening, because we knew we wanted to expand the show, and we knew that we needed to make it a safe place for people to be who were new, and we knew that was intimidating and weird to come into a show that you've already watched, like,
yes.
Where would you rank that in terms of like on your mind when you came? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a different show, obviously, but yet kind of similar.
I was excited.
Got it.
It was half professional, half fangirl.
That's good. That's good.
I wanted to come do my best.
Yes,
I
and
felt
you did.
lucky and honored to be a part of it. But I was also the first couple of episodes just a little starstruck.
Oh.
And I'm a grown-up seasoned actor, and I was still a little like, oh my God.
You didn't seem it. You didn't seem it at all. You were fun. You were fun right away, as was Sarita.
Yeah.
Like, the two of you are like so chill. You know what I mean? You really are. Like, I felt like it was just seamless.
Wow.
I did. Wow. I really did. I mean, I did. Obviously the whole costume situation, I was like, wow, whoa, what on earth? Oh my gosh, she can pull this off, and whoa, it's incredible. But you were just like a breeze, like the Valentino moment. I mean, like, they showed me when the headpiece arrived at costume.
I remember that day, yes.
They showed me, and I was like,
the people in the back. It was a full crate.
A full crate of this incredible, I'm sure you guys have seen the image, but if not, we'll put it on the social media. It's an incredible headpiece that covered her face, okay? I was like, what?
It was like Silence of the Lambs under there.
Yeah.
Like the Philip Treacy made, it was on the in Rome, the fashion show in Rome. It had just premiered.
Right. I was so scared. I was like, don't make Nicole wear this. But did you not only wear it, you like run down Fifth Avenue in that thing. I mean, it was incredible. We could not have cast you better ever in our wildest dreams. You're just a dream, Nicole.
Thank you.
You really are.
I think it took like 50 years for me to be who I was when I was like a little girl. My mom had bracelets and scarves in the 70s, and Diana Ross in mahogany outfits. And so I would play in those clothes. But I also went to a private school, so I wore uniforms my whole life, like 2nd to 12th grade. Wow. And so here I was as an adult, and so I played lawyers, and I was very pulled together, and I was like, finally.
Oh, I love it. Oh, there's no better place to play than our world.
Yeah.
That's the other sad thing.
And, the wardrobe also, Molly and Danny, they did a lot of kind of feeling research, like what they wanted to feel like. So the funeral scene, for example, it was Coretta Scott King and Jackie O at their husband's funeral, Dr. King's funeral, and they really knew the historic power in a lot of the clothes that I was wearing.
Absolutely.
And we're very intentional about that.
Absolutely.
And that just made me even more comfortable. So when she handed me 2 bags, I was like, I trust you, girl. I know Cleopatra must have done this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, you should play Cleopatra. Oh my God, what a great idea. Or Nefertiti.
Ooh.
I know, the creativity just starts to bubble. I know, I love it. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we move on?
No, let's do it.
It's fun. It's so much fun. You're just so easy and joyful. I feel like you have just so much joy in everything you do.
Thank you.
I really do.
You too.
You remember when we were running around doing that press? You just had so much joy. It's so nice. I'm serious.
I was exhausted like you were.
Yeah.
It was, people don't realize it was like 47 interviews in one day in
like
consecutive
every 4
days.
minutes.
Every 4 minutes.
Every 4 minutes. It's hard.
And in heels and lashes. And I would look over at you and just be like, she's amazing.
And that's what I thought about you. You're amazing and so incredibly chic. Oh my God.
Thank you. And for people who don't know, like, it takes a lot for Kristin to say that's enough. And this girl would be like beat down, cannot even say another word before she would say, can I just get a glass of water? Just give me a minute.
That's true too. Every once in a while, I do have to remind myself that it's okay to ask for a break.
Yeah.
You know? Because I think we're both really good girls, as much as we're also grown women.
Yes.
And I love that about you. And I feel like that also was like kind of a really special meeting place for LTW and Charlotte. You know, like we had that kind of similar DNA.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have to be there for each other. Like, it's okay to say it's hard to climb these rafters or whatever the heck. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to say that when you're getting up in your extremely structured couture skirt at the funeral after sitting on it for 5 hours or whatever it was, that can we have a moment to fix ourselves?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And you would just get a little bite of a sandwich.
Yeah. And they'd be like, we need
and
you.
And then you would get your lash fixed.
I know.
And you'd be like, okay, now I'm ready.
It's so true. It's so true. It's such an interesting thing. And I think it's an interesting thing about being a woman where you just feel like you're supposed to be all put together at all times, no matter what, you know, and that it's okay not to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I also think that I saw this other thing and I wanted to ask you your thoughts on it. I was looking at the press about the end of the show, which is quite interesting. I know. Right?
So interesting.
So interesting. And I'm collecting some ideas of how to talk about it on the podcast. Maybe have some experts on. Someone wrote in The Atlantic a really interesting article about the lack of true dialogue in our social media kind of world, that it's more just like shouting at each other and not actually deeply looking at something, which is interesting. Then also there's interesting thoughts and ideas about the parasocial relationship that people have with actors and celebrities and the projections and the amount of projection and kind of losing the limits of, you know,
and the safety of being able to project and have no reciprocation. Like I can just throw tomato sauce on these people.
Right, whatever I'm feeling that day, right? Because it literally took hours of us saying that the show was ending for people to be writing love letters to it. The people who had previously been very angry at whatever perceived misstep we had made in their mind or whatever. It was really amazing. So when I'm looking through the list of all the different articles, I see this one and it says, The Erasure of Charlotte York. And I'm like, what? Who erased me? What? And I read the article. And it was by kind of a fashion magazine or digital magazine, I think. And it basically said, number one, that when I started, this is almost 30 years ago, when I started, I had frills in my clothing. And where were they? Okay, that's 30 years ago. Do we not want to change and grow a little bit? Like Charlotte has stayed pretty true to her fashion sense. But it's 30 years later. I don't really think I need any more frills that I already have, people.
I have
And if I
traverse the frill landscape thoroughly.
Right. And if I were wearing frills, I think they'd be complaining about that. And then the second thing they complained about in this article involves you, which is why I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Remember the scene where we're walking? It was one of the last ones we filmed. We're walking and talking about your flirtation at work, your flirking. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of telling me about it because you can't really talk about it. You're feeling a lot of guilt, even though you've done nothing with your flirtation at work. But you're feeling bad because you have a great marriage, right? Mm-hmm. And you, obviously, your marriage is incredibly important to you. And so you're talking to your friend about your, I feel so uncomfortable about these thoughts and dreams that I had. I think you had a dream, right? So, and I say something to you like, you have a connection at work, and isn't this what we want? You're in a creative job and you have a creative connection at work. So the person writing this article was all upset. Charlotte York would never say that. Charlotte York would look down on that. Charlotte York would not be supporting that. That's not Charlotte York, right? Like very adamant. And to me, I think that's insane, because why wouldn't there be some growth in Charlotte that she would be less judgmental than she might have been 30 years ago? Mm-hmm. And also, you're coming to me for, like reassurance and compassion and empathy, not judgment. Why would I judge you? You're not going to do anything, and I know you're not going to do anything. So I'm trying to make you feel better about your own thoughts, because you already feel so bad.
Yeah, well, I thought that was such good writing, because it showed that, like exactly what you said, that these two women are actual friends in the sense that they really care about the choices they're about to make. And then for you to say that was kind of like honoring the morality of Charlotte by putting this attraction in perspective. Like, this is just a creative space that gets the feelings going, but it's just a creative space. I thought that was like the most wholesome thing you could say to your friend, and bring all of that fire down in your friend, and don't ruin your marriage.
Right.
And don't overblow it.
Right.
And I just...
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. But I think when I hear that, I think it was more about the writer.
Right.
That
it doesn't seem like that when you
at
see
the time,
that clickbait headline, the erasure of Charlotte York, and then you actually read it and you're like, what? I don't agree with anything this person's saying. No offense to you, whoever you are. I don't remember your name. But it just goes to show that, like, I feel like we're in this crazy time. I know. Behave myself. Behave, Kristin. It's a crazy time is really just what I want to say.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's like the forests are lost for the trees, or whatever that phrase is.
Yes.
Can't see the forest for the trees.
Can't see the forest for the trees, yes.
I feel like it's like that. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the nitpicking, where you don't even know the whole what's coming.
It reminds me of All of the Family in a way.
Yeah.
Archie Bunker was representing a voice, and they let him say those things on the show. And then when the Jeffersons were their neighbors before they had their spinoff. And every now and then, Archie Bunker would have a moment of kindness or clarity, or open to thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I read somewhere that people would get outraged that he still wasn't like bam, bam, bam.
Wow.
And, but as a kid watching that, I was warmed by those moments.
The complexities.
And the complexity of, even if my young brain couldn't process it, I was like, oh, right. That's the right thing to say, in my childlike mind. And that's how I felt about that scene.
Yeah. And the other thing
is, you know what a wonderful thing, though, that people responded to that we didn't even realize was our scene in the pool.
Oh.
I got hundreds and hundreds of comments about every aspect of that scene. The silence between us, the fact, people saw our race in that scene, and that how simple two women can be friends, and that all the differences in them don't matter when friends are friends.
Yeah.
I got just exposés on it.
Amazing.
And it was just a small scene that we both were like, don't fill my butt.
Totally. And
I'm
also,
in a bathing
thank
suit.
God we're in the water, because it's 100
Can
degrees.
Can we go up to our neck?
Exactly.
Do you know?
That's beautiful. Well, that's the power. That's the power of film, I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget about the power in the little things. Mm-hmm. That's really well put. And I'm glad that you got that. And I also, it just gives me faith in the human race, that they can see good things, right?
Yeah.
You guys, this is so much fun that we are going to have a part 2. So join us later in the week on Are You a Charlotte?